Hey everybody, welcome back for another MMKK AMA. I'm Papa Stonks. Today we've got a blast from the past with us here today. We've got HODL token. For those that were not around in the 2021 bull run or just had their heads buried in the sand, this was one of the biggest rewards token on BSC, and they are back with revamped contracts and everything, ready to do it again. They paid out over 20,000 BNB. That's not $20,000. That's 20,000 BNB since May of 2021. With that said, we've got Adam here with us. Adam, come on up, man. Tell everybody a little bit about your history in the space, and then we can get into the project.
Hey, thanks for having me. So yeah, I mean, my background, I've always built my own businesses. I've done that for the last 20 years. I was before COVID building some software companies, but COVID came along and kind of had to go in a slightly different direction, and did some charity work before getting into crypto. And yeah, I came across HODL back in the day, around May 2021, and was an investor in the project at that time. But I just think it's got such potential that I sort of started supporting the team, and we did some amazing stuff. And the dev, unfortunately with crypto, devs don't kind of like waiting around and building, they're kind of a bit in and out. So the developer of the original HODL token left, and we basically took over, and I've been building on it ever since. I think we're about 3.5 years in now, but I think hopefully, we're gonna have a nice Christmas, and then we've got 2025 ahead of us. So yeah, like, as I say, background in building tech companies effectively. Got into crypto, and yeah, decided this is the project that I really believe in, and I'm fortunate enough to kind of be heading it up these days.
Awesome, man. And yeah, I think we've all seen that uh, devs in the space, they don't have a strong attention span, and also a lot of them, do developer work for money, and sticking with just one project doesn't really pay out that much in the long run when they can build for multiple projects. So, but having a team come in and take over and continue building is always good to see, especially for the original holders. Um, but yeah, so with that said, what's the difference between HODL then and HODL now?
Yeah, good question. A hell of a lot. The original token, the kind of core proposition was this notion that you collected BNB rewards whilst you held, and that's still the case. That's always going to be the jewel in the crown. But to be honest with you, that's all that it was at that point. Obviously, it's a very powerful brand, and that concept of collecting BNB rewards for holding is very powerful. But we've built on it so much. So just some of the examples of that. Originally, it was 10% tax on buy, sells, transfers, and there was like some of that was going to things like marketing, reflections, the BNB pool liquidity. We with this latest contract, we just massively simplified that, and it's now just 5% tax, which is half the tax, but all to the BNB reward pool, because we know that's ultimately why people are here. So we've streamlined that. The original supply was 1 quadrillion tokens, which was probably a little bit more fashionable back then. But we've changed that to a supply of 10 billion tokens in this new contract, which I think is a lot more sensible. And then we've just done loads of work to build up an ecosystem around it, because really what it comes down to, if you want to have a reward token that's sustainable, you have to have revenue streams, you have to have sustainability, because they all go through this process where they kind of pump and then they dump, and it's sort of like becomes this bit of a death spiral. So over the last 3 years, we've worked hard to establish revenue streams around the project so that we can fund development, operations, marketing, and also have an input into the reward pool to make it sustainable. So we've built some really good NFT ranges that have utility that enhance your experience within our ecosystem. We have play to earn games. So we've got revenues coming from gaming now, and we're just about to launch this massive game that we've been working on for about 2 years. So having revenue to sustain the B&B reward pool in the project is really important. You can't just rely on the taxes that are occurring when there's buy, sells or transfers. And then one other thing that I think is really awesome about the project is we've crunched all of our fees. So it used to cost about $1 to transact a reward claim, or and buys and sells and some were quite expensive because it wasn't particularly well optimized. Whereas now it's like crazy optimized. How we've built our contract, and we're down to about 5% of those costs that people did experience in the original token. And that's really important because it just opens you up to people being able to make passive income on as little as an investment of $10. So yeah, building out the ecosystem, building in revenue streams for sustainability, and then really optimizing the contract and how it performs and some of the features and functions, is really what we've done, along with building our footprint, and even registering things like trademarks and a company, and being doxed, KYC, having shareholders. We've really built on top of this original concept so that it's something that can be here, longer than us. That's ultimately the goal. This is designed to be a lifelong sustainable project. So yeah, quite a bit, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. We all remember the original rewards tokens, the high tax on BSC that, they were really just dependent on volume to provide those rewards. And, once the volume dries up, everybody moves on to the next one. But you guys continue building and figuring out a better way to offer those rewards. With the stable rewards that you guys have, you want to explain a little bit how that works, how it's not so volume dependent for your claims?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there's a number of things there. I mean, firstly, we have one of the first things we did is we launched our NFT range, HODL hands, which are really awesome. They're just 0.2 BNB each, but we've deliberately done things in a way where everything complements each other. So we're building a poker game at the moment. So once that's released, Texas Hold'em, the NFTs will be a part of that, and there'll be utility in our poker. The NFTs have utility in our play to earn gaming. And then during the bear market, you also are getting bonuses and able to stake NFTs to earn HODL and the other NFT range we have, which is launching alongside this massive game that we've built. So our HODL hand NFT is really good, and we sold about 4,000 over the last 3 years, which has brought us, hundreds of thousands of dollars to build the project. And we've also put some of that revenue into the reward pool. So that was really important. But we've also done things like we have built a series of staking pools and where people can stake their NFTs or their tokens. And we've also done things like building out products and services like our app, where you can view your investment and claim your rewards and get reward alerts when your rewards are available, plus things like investor dashboards. So we've just built around it these things that both enhance your experience of holding our token and being a part of our ecosystem, but also bring revenue to the reward pool and revenue to the project, so that we're not, like you say, relying on volume or having to like dump tokens on the chart to kind of like fund things. we found ways of leveraging stuff away from purely volume. And then on top of that, because we've built a lot of technology within this project, we've been able to create a business, a registered company, and then we've been able to effectively sell equity in what is effectively a technology company. So we've been able to raise investment. That's been another useful way of financing development and growth and the project as a whole. So yeah, they're probably the main things. The NFT range is play to earn gaming, and by operating as a tech company, we're able to raise some equity based investment to sustain kind of the project and the pool.
Okay, so as far as those equity-based investments, what percentage are the investors getting, and what kind of payout distribution is that?
Yes. So how that works is you're just like any company, you're getting shares in the company. So the company, rather than say I'm just an anonymous developer who effectively owns the project. Everything that we build, everything that we create, all the IP, all the code, the tokens that they're in, things like the treasury, that kind of thing. Normally that's effectively in the hands of the developer, but we've built this as a company that's building these utilities and these innovations, which I think one of our future plays is that we're going to license some of these innovations and some of these tools and systems that we've built to other projects as another revenue stream, like B2B sales. But because you have a company, a legal entity that owns the project and what the project is building, investors are able to effectively acquire a slice of that. So we're not giving them, in the last raise we did, which was we raised, I think it was $180,000, and they got something like 10% equity in the company. That was purely based on effectively shares in the company, and then we used that money to expand and develop the project. So what they're effectively getting is a slice of the company and what that company is creating, rather than say the tokens as such. So the company's been valued at, I think it's about $2.5 million. But yeah, as I say, that's separate to the tokens.
Okay. What's the difference between HODL token and HODL X?
So HODL X was launched because it's a tax-free token, and there were some benefits and utilities to have a tax-free token in our ecosystem. But we recently have announced to the community that we're withdrawing support for that. So we want to streamline our message again and go back to, as we head into this next bull run, the crown and glory of the project, which is the B&B rewards and this concept of getting paid while you hold. So it was a tax-free token that was part of a staking platform we built, but we've stripped back recently, and we're just focusing on HODL.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we don't really need to get too much more into that.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think it was getting a bit complicated, having like two tokens with a similar name, and we felt like that HODL is this opportunity, and we want to just focus 110%. So we kind of announced to the community that we would strip back. So I think that's important. We've built a hell of a lot over the last 3.5 years, but we're also going through a process with this contract relaunch of really making sure that we focus and exploit, the things within our ecosystem that are really important. And we decided that really wasn't a part of the long-term future. So yeah, we recently kind of pulled support from that and told everyone, you can just kind of exit the project and pull your liquidity.
Yeah, it makes sense. And also, it's a lot less work for the project itself. You've got to manage, especially with it being a rewards token, you have to manage that liquidity pool to, keep the value of those up. Cutting it back to just the one token is
Yeah,
a lot
only
more
so
than
many hours in a day, huh? So yeah, exactly.
that. Right. Um, you guys do have a lot of different staking opportunities. For people, obviously, it is a reflections token as well. So, um, even without claiming the BNB, the value of your bag is still going up with each transaction.
Yeah, sorry, I should say, because we're just going through a process of rolling out, making sure all of our messaging, because we've got a big platform and stuff, is kind of absolutely in line with this recent, because we launched this new contract on the 13th, so it's like 10 days ago. And we actually, again, with reflections, that was another thing that we decided to discontinue. So
Yeah,
the
you
new
did say
contract.
all the tax. Yeah, you guys got to get to work on updating the white paper.
Yeah, the white paper, the roadmap, the website. There's yeah, we got a little
Yeah,
bit more to do, but we're getting there.
yeah, you got some work cut out for you there.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so it used to be a reflections token. Um,
Yeah, there used to be
it
reflections,
was
but at the end of the day, people want the B&B rewards. So we've halved the tax. It's gone from 10% to now 5%, but it's all of it is to the B&B pool. So
now
no more reflections,
with
100% B&B.
removing the reflections, that also takes away the hyperdeflationary aspect of it as well. Do you have
Yeah.
any other avenues where you're creating any kind of deflation for the supply?
Yeah, so the supply is fixed at 10 billion. We felt that kind of gives you a sense of our ambition for the project. Because I think once this thing starts running up and people start seeing their rewards go up, and reinvesting, I think this thing's just going to take off like it did in the past. But where we will be able to deflate the supply, so it's obviously it cannot expand because it's fixed supply. Where we
Right.
can deflate it is through these revenue streams we've got. So we've got the various revenue streams I've touched on with the gaming and different types of gaming, the upcoming poker and the NFT ranges, the staking and so on, and obviously the transactional taxes. But with those revenues that we're generating, we're able to then buy back tokens. So for example, with our play to earn gaming, there's actually an integrated NFT range where you buy these 3D gemstone trading cards, which you can use in the game to like boost your powers. And then depending on your score, you end up on the leaderboard and you win tokens. We're then actually using some of that revenue from the NFT sales and the gaming sales to buy back our token, which we're then distributing as prizes on, to the players. And within that model, we have like a split of the revenue. So some of that revenue will go towards buyback and burns, and some of it towards, marketing and project expansion and development. And then, a good chunk of it is going directly into the B&B reward pool. So it's a fixed supply these days because we just want to streamline it and focus on get maximum B&B rewards with minimum tax. So we've got nearly, if you think about what HODL did in the past, we're nearly doubling our tax. Sorry, the contribution to the B&B pool, but halving actually how much tax there is. So it used to be 10, now it's 5% tax, but you now got 5% to B&B pool rather than 3. So hugely more, hugely optimized and efficient. But yeah, within the revenues from the various kind of parts of our ecosystem, we're going to be buying back and burning tokens for sure.
Awesome. All right. So, you still will have the deflationary aspect to the token. It's just not going to be done through the buy and sell tax like it used to be.
That's right.
All right. Now, as far as the gaming goes, um, you need to hold the HODL hands NFTs for energy. I'm guessing that is like an unlimited mint that you guys have on those, or is there any kind of cap that you have on that collection?
It's a range of 10,000 NFTs, and they're 0.2 BNB each, and you get them blind. So we're actually doing a really awesome kind of competition where if you mint a superhero hand, of which there's 3, we've got prizes of between $5,000 and I think $15,000 of prizes if you can mint a superhero hand, one of 3. One of them's already come out. We've got 2 more to go. But yeah, in terms of how the gaming works, you have the HODL hand NFTs, and if they're in your wallet, because you also have the option to stake them. But if you keep them in your wallet, your address is effectively going to be earning and accruing gaming energy, and then you use that energy to enter the mini games and compete to win prizes, with a focus on people are able to win more HODL token. So by kind of like by proxy of holding the HODL hand NFTs and buying those NFTs, you're going to be basically getting credit to compete and earn through gaming more HODL token. We also, with our gaming, the kind of model is that's the kind of core of the model, that you hold the NFTs, you get the energy to compete and earn, but you can also just straight buy energy. So you can just buy $10 of energy with BNB. And we've also kind of developed it so you can trade in your HODL tokens for energy as well if you want to compete. So there's a few options. And then we have a bit like kind of really successful gaming apps. We also have like a free version. So you can go along and play our mini games, which are really awesome. We've got 5 different types of games, and you can go along and play them for free and actually earn energy if you can score well in the free games, and then use that to compete. So we've got a few different options. But yeah, if you're into gaming and you want to earn some more HODL, then having some HODL hand NFTs in your wallet is going to give you a chance to enter and compete to win some pretty awesome prizes.
Yeah, I'm not a huge gamer, but I did see that you do have the ability to stake these NFTs. So if you stake your HODL hand, however you guys want to pronounce it, NFTs, you earn Gem Fighter NFTs. Now, and vice versa as well. You can stake the Gem Fighters and earn the HODL hands. So, what are the benefits of the Gem Fighter NFTs, and how do they play into the games as well?
Yeah, so the HODL hand NFTs are really focused on the mini games, of which we've got 5 at the moment of these small fun mini games. They're also going to be usable in the upcoming poker game that we're launching, the Texas Hold'em poker game. And then, as you mentioned, we've got the Gem Fighter, which is a large scale game. So we've got this, it's actually so cool. Like, basically we've got this procedurally generated game. And what that means is that we've built environments and worlds in which this game exists that are kind of infinitely random. It's a space-based side-scrolling shooter. So basically, you have a spaceship flying through, and you've got to kind of destroy everything in your path, everything that's trying to take you out, and survive for as long as you can. Hold on for dear life, as it were. And the function of these NFTs that we've got for that game is we built this technology that generates 3D gemstones. So each NFT comes with a 3D gemstone, and these gemstones have properties like fire, lightning, ice, and so on, that you can basically use in the game. So before you go into each round of the game and you're trying to survive and get through the levels and destroy as many enemies as possible, you can connect your wallet and socket your NFTs into your spaceship. So it'll boost things like your attack, your defense, and your spells, which are things that you can do, as you're battling your way through. And that basically gives you an advantage, that you're able to use these 3D gemstone trading cards in the game to boost your spaceship's kind of attacking powers and so on, and defensive powers, score higher as a result, and earn more. So again, it's one of those things. It's that one of the big plays, or one of the big reasons for this. Go back to the start. You can't, if you want to be like a lifelong reward token, you have to have real utility and revenue. And there's so many options out there about what we focus on and what we strategically do in terms of which things we bring to our ecosystem. And we feel gaming is has got a huge future. And one of the things that I really believe is that in the future, people will be buying these NFTs and in-game gaming assets rather than what we're doing at the moment, which is, people will buy gaming assets in FIFA or whatever they're playing, Call of Duty. And when you stop playing that game, they're dead. The value of them's gone. So what we are building here is this awesome game that uses this insane technology that we've created, and it's free to play. But for people that really want to be at the top of the leaderboards, they're going to need to go into each round of this game, kind of tooled up. And these NFTs are that tool. They give you these weapons and these powers. And that's, for me, really interesting, because if you say one day decide, I'm not going to play this game anymore, or I've fallen in love with another game or whatever, you can still trade those assets that you've been purchasing in the game. And I personally believe that's where gaming's going to go. That all this money that's being spent on in-game assets that then becomes unrealizable when you stop playing. I think NFTs and tokenization is a huge opportunity there, so that you can be purchasing these things, but they also have a future resale value. Or if you were to unlock a really rare one, you could make a fortune on that alone. So that's really how the game works, is you're buying these in-game assets, which are NFTs, you're using them to score high, and then, there's a trade, there's a market, we're building a marketplace so people can swap and sell the gaming NFTs between each other. But we're also thinking about allowing people to rent it. So if you mint a really rare NFT for this game, you could rent it out and make some money by renting it. So I think there's a huge opportunity there, because we're talking about billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars being spent on this stuff in the game that is completely ring fenced. If you stop playing on your device, all that stuff you purchased is worthless. And so we're building this huge scale space-based shooter, but actually tokenizing, the in-game powers and assets effectively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And you actually kind of touched on another question I was going to ask, and that was going to be about, it's a 50,000 piece collection for the Gym Fighter NFTs. What percentage of that are the ultra rares, and have you seen any kind of secondary market trading going on for these so far?
So at the moment, it's a little bit underground in the sense that we're still finishing the game. So we got people in our community who are playing the beta and enjoying just kind of like playing the game before it's finished. So once we finish the game, that's when we're going to start really pushing and marketing the game and the NFTs. But we've already, I think there's been something like 1,000 have already been purchased of these NFTs. And yeah, it's a collection of 50,000, but the NFTs are only $35 in BNB. So it kind of tracks the BNB price, so that's kind of like what is out at the moment, 0.05 BNB, I think, off the top of my head. So they're very, very affordable. And we want that to be the case. We want them to be really, a bit like how now you could say buy like a rare player on is it FC these days? It used to be FIFA, but FC, the football game, and it might cost you $10, $15 or whatever. So it's that kind of concept, like a micro selling, that you can buy these assets, you can buy these gemstones. That's why the range is bigger, because we're making them super affordable. And then we're going to build the marketplace, because I think it needs to be, we want the marketplace to kind of exist within our ecosystem and make it really clean and simple to use. I don't think anybody has really taken a grip of them. And the NFT marketplace is going through quite a challenging time. The volume of NFT sales are really low at the moment compared to where it was in the last bull run. So we've not really kind of looked to focus on a secondary provider for that. Like, what we're aiming to do is build it into the game, that you can play the game and trade easily with the people who also play the game. So yeah, it's going to be our own marketplace within our ecosystem, all of the fees to the project and to the community, and and yeah, super simple and kind of in a nice part of the game. A bit like how you'd play a game at the moment, and you would do any of the trading and so on directly in the game.
Awesome. Okay. And I love the idea about the allowing people to rent out those, NFTs, the rare ones. It gives others that are playing the game, the ability to utilize the ultra rare powers or whatever, and gives the person that's just in it for trading the NFTs the ability to rent them out and possibly ROI before even thinking about selling them and waiting for a higher floor, which is probably something I would do. I would rent them out and just wait until the floor is super high.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was like, our job is to help people earn whilst they're within our ecosystem. And this was just an idea that we had, well, because at the end of the day, if you got a range of 50,000.
Uh-oh. Well, hit the old dusty trail. Looks like Adam rugged on us. At least we see. So, while we're waiting on him to jump back in, hopefully. Does anybody have any questions they want me to ask him when he comes back? Who here was in HODL token in 2021? Raise your hand. Nobody?
Were you, Papa?
I was. It wasn't one of my biggest rewards token holds, but I did. I did get a little bit. And, I know Dane was really big in HODL token, and brother as well. But I think back then I was buying just about all rewards tokens. The only one I missed was actually Evergrow. And he is back. Welcome back, Adam.
Yeah,
Seems like
thank
we
you.
have
Weird.
technical difficulties there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It just booted me out, and I had to kind of reconnect my device and scan the QR code, which is strange. I've never had that before.
Wow.
But yeah, we were speaking about renting, weren't we? The NFTs and the in-game assets, I think.
Yeah, and obviously that's going to be coming with the release of your marketplace and everything else. Is there going to be any kind of fee? Obviously, it's a revenue generating opportunity for the project. So, is there going to be any kind of percentage that is coming out from the rental fees to go towards the rewards and the project?
Yeah, so half of all of the revenue from NFT sales will go to the reward pool. So that's going to be in addition to all of the rewards from volume. And also, I should tell you about how we've changed how we generate rewards compared to the past, which I think will lead on to a lot more rewards for people. But yeah, before that, what effectively we're going to be able to do is, because it's going to be our marketplace, all of the fees will come directly to us, and then we'll be using I think it's 50% of that will go straight to the pool, and then obviously we'll use some of that for marketing and development of the project, buyback and burns and that kind of thing. But there's potentially millions of dollars to be generated just from that game. before
Mhm.
our other mini games and other services and staking we have, and so on. So the potential is pretty awesome. And yeah, I think giving people options, and the guys that have built this are heavy gamers and know how it works. And I think this idea of helping people who love gaming sweat their assets a bit more, I think is really where we want to go with this. And we're building out this first game, but I think the potential there is pretty enormous, and I think it's going to really catch on.
Yeah. Um, and again, me personally, I'm not. I don't love gaming, but I do love gaming assets that I can make money on. I'll say
Mm.
that. So I love gamers that will go in there and pump my bags. Um,
Exactly,
so,
yeah. Because that's the thing,
so
I think the thing to kind of understand is that at its basic, you have the HODL token where you buy it, and unlike any other token out there, you've got this innovation and work that's gone in to bring you this kind of recurring income as you go along. But of course, you can trade it just like any other token as well.
mhm.
And then because we want to keep our people engaged and give them various options, the games, the staking pools, the NFTs, these are all things that people who love our project can kind of grow into. I wouldn't necessarily use the word super user, but it's that kind of notion that you have your core proposition, and then you have these things built on that people can kind of get into and start to use, and we can start to explain them as they get more and more familiar with our ecosystem. But then, quite frankly, there's people that have no interest in gaming, but they love it because they know that people using these games and buying these NFTs and the fees and so on, it's going to be helping bring revenue, to the reward pool and pump the chart. So it kind of works for everybody in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all about the revenue and the money. Um, I don't really. If I'm playing a game, it's literally futures for money. So that's what I consider me playing a game is scalping 1 minute candles.
Yeah, I
But with that said, you did bring up a good point, and we want the gamers, we want them the more the merrier that are coming in. Do you plan on having um, any of these games out on mobile apps for people to download on Play Store or Google Play, or yeah, Apple Store or Google Play?
Yeah, so the big thing that we're doing, and we had this vision back in the last bull run, and that's this. We've created our own app, the HODL app, and we're just updating it currently, to work with the new token. So bear that in mind, and hopefully we'll have an announcement on that soon. But we have our own app that brings everything into one place, and it's on the Android store, and we're just working to get it into the iOS store. So within that, you'll be able to access and play our games like within a singular app. And that for me is really important because the ultimate vision for this project is that you have the HODL app and people can download that to the phones and they can see what they're earning. They can see what they're earning by day, what they've earned over a period of time. They can claim their rewards, and we'll even send them a little alarm if they want to use that feature when their rewards are there to be collected. We're going to add in a debit card, so you'll be able to send your rewards onto a card, and you'll be able to spend that, in a normal world if you want to fill up your car or buy a holiday or whatever, that's there for you. And then you're going to have these games. We want them to be all within this singular app. For this and actually I should say that the mini games already are. So if you download the HODL app on Android, you can actually get to the games through the app and play those and connect your wallet and so on. But we're also this huge game that we're building, Gem Fighter. We're actually currently in the process of trying to get that listed on the Epic Games store. That actually does allow you to list projects that kind of have a cryptocurrency element. So we're working on getting that listed.
Awesome. And the reason I asked is because some of best liquidity for gaming tokens come from people that aren't even in crypto at all. It's coming from the Web2 players, the people that are get on and they just use their debit card to buy all these things. And they're not worried about the crypto aspect. They're just playing the game. Um, Obviously, you do get some adoption. You do get some people that carry over, like, okay, well, let me see what I can do with these rewards. Then you get people that just spend them back and keep building their characters or whatever the game is. Um, so that, you know, cornering that market and getting that liquidity coming in for us is crucial for any kind of games, I think.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And without that, if a project doesn't have revenue, it's only going to be around for so long. So yeah, I think that's key. And we're looking at all sorts of options. The guy who's built this is also looking at some pretty mainstream platforms like Xbox and PlayStation and so on. So you'd be able to actually, but the vision for the game, or that particular game, is to make it accessible to anyone. So it's totally free to just rock up and play the game. However, the people that are going to be performing the best, or if you want to give yourself an advantage, you're going to need to take into the game these gemstone trading cards, because they're going to give you an advantage and allow you to sort of boost up your spaceship as you enter a level. So between every round, you can change the combination of which weapons and defense and so on you're using, depending on what NFTs you're holding. So anyone can play it, but if you want to be top ranked and earning the big money, you're going to probably need to invest in the NFTs to give yourself the kind of like capabilities that they bring. But yeah, we're going down that route of making it freemium, if you will.
Yeah. You did mention that people can use BNB as well. If they're not holding the HODL hands NFTs to get energy, they can use the BNB. But to really, get up there on the leaderboards, they need to get the NFTs. Have you put anywhere on these games, because I haven't seen it, any kind of directions or instructions for people to set up wallets and everything, and let them know how this works to get the Web2 players to adopt, the NFTs and everything?
Yeah, so the big thing is that the vision and the way this is working is it's going to be part of a singular app. So the actual reason we built the HODL app is we wanted to remove all of the barriers to entry. So my experience, and I don't know if whether you aped into HODL in 2021. I get the impression you might have held some based on. Yeah. Okay. Well, when we were in the ball round and HODL was like a really, really massive project and everyone was talking about it, I was kind of telling people about it, but if they weren't in crypto, they're kind of like, how do I do this? How do I set up a wallet and so on and so on? So wrapping around our games and our entire ecosystem, we have our app, because that's been built in a way where it's really easy to onboard. You don't need to set up like Trust Wallet or SafePal and all that stuff. Like, the app will basically generate a wallet for you securely, and then you can buy crypto with fiat using third parties like MoonPay and Transact, all within the app. And then you can equally do the same when it comes to buying NFTs and playing games and so on. It's all very intuitive. I think for me, and one of the things we're trying to do is lower those barriers to entry. And yeah, that's kind of what the app's doing as a wraparound on our games and everything else, is it's allowing people to buy this stuff and use this stuff and claim rewards without having to really understand crypto. So that's why, it's really important for us that the games are accessible and you can enjoy them through the app. is because that app is purposely designed to kind of offer a frictionless entry into our ecosystem and crypto as a whole.
That's perfect. The easier, the better, and the more people you'll get. And I wouldn't even try to explain to somebody that wasn't into crypto, how to do all this stuff, especially when it came to gaming and everything else. Like, I'll help you set up a wallet, I'll get you some BNB, but after that, you're on your own. 2021, the technology wasn't the same. We didn't have the same ease of use. A lot of people were still using MetaMask and had to still upload the BSC RPC to even have that on their MetaMask. And
I think it's a huge problem. Like, this is really what's getting in the way right now of is that most of the people in crypto, away from centralized exchanges, which I think is another problem, but we won't go there. The people that are in crypto, you have to have a level of understanding and go through and have your fingers burnt enough times, to kind of get to a point when you can use this stuff. And that's really our big objective, is that we want to have a clear proposition, and that's that we're the crypto you need if you want to be earning as you go. And it's not just a case of you buy it for a price and sell it for a different price. There's revenue opportunities throughout your time holding. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is making it really easy for people. I kind of use an analogy. It's a bit like in the banking systems and industry. We don't think about or care about what software they're using to power the banking systems. You just get on with it, And I think that is where we need to take crypto, is that people can use the stuff like intuitively without having to get a degree in it and study it. Otherwise, we're going to struggle with like mass adoption. So the HODL app is really there to kind of make it easy for people to buy into and set up in our ecosystem, and then games and everything else and the staking and all these other wonderful things that we're building sit under that and are easily accessible and intuitive, and to the point where you don't have to stress about, how to set up your wallet and what slippage is and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's it was a bitch. I think the first time I really got into DeFi, it took me a week to buy something because of 1% slippage. I was
Yeah.
I was using an old YouTube video that apparently had the slippage set 1% too low, and it took me a week to figure out to raise my slippage by one and finally get in. But I did a nice 1000x on that even a week later. So
wow. But this is the thing, and that's going to put so many people off, isn't it? If they don't understand these things, and there's no way we have to kind of create a user interface and user experience that is intuitive. And I suppose the reason why I'm sort of so passionate about that, and that's really kind of one of my core expertise, is that's a lot of what I've done historically. Is I've built like different software businesses that have delivered various services and benefits, but it was always about making them simple and easy to use. So and I've kind of built a career around that, and so it's really exciting to me to kind of bring this to crypto, is how we can make it so simple that like even your grandma can do it. That's got to be the goal, and that kind of hopefully is visible in the project. But that's really what my career's been based on. And I've spent years and years doing that, taking complex ideas and trying to simplify them, using kind of web-based services. And I've built some pretty big companies and sold out to companies like Michelin and TripAdvisor and so on, building kind of in that way. But doing it for crypto is like a whole nother level of challenge. But yeah, that's kind of like our bread and butter, and our focus is making it something that the 99% of people that aren't in DeFi can use, not just something for the 1%.
Definitely. All right, let's see. How about marketing? what kind of marketing are you guys? Obviously, we're coming into Christmas. The the market's probably not going to pick up until after the new year, so that would probably be the best time to kick off any kind of marketing, um, and especially as you're rolling out this huge game. So, what kind of marketing are we looking at over the next 3 months?
I think marketing is a really interesting topic in crypto because we've been going 3.5 years and we want to go for the next 350. So you have to be very careful. A lot of the marketing we do is we do a lot of organic marketing. So, sorry, my kids are coming to say hello. We do a lot of marketing. Sorry, give me 1 sec. Let me just sort out the kids.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Sorry, 1 second.
Oh, somebody got their head cracked. At least he didn't do what I would probably do. Shut the hell up, or I'll give you something to cry about.
Sorry about that. I've got 3 kids and they love fighting. They absolutely love fighting. It keeps me on my toes along with crypto. But marketing. Yeah, so we've got a really good base of representation, sort of that we've stitched into our ecosystem. So we're really well listed on every listing site, and we've got really strong social media and a really good community. And I think that's important. You've got to have that base. We have good partners. I think that's important. And when we finish this Gem Fighter game, I think that's going to be a key is securing some really heavy hitting partnerships. And then we do a lot of digital marketing. So that's something that I've spent quite a few years in, because it's also quite good in terms of being measurable. So we do a lot of things like, remarketing to people who visit our website, advertising on various social media platforms, advertising on various chart sites. Like Deck Screen is a great example of that. They have a pretty decent ad system. So, but I think the big thing is that everything we build and a lot of what we do marketing wise, we try to do in-house, whether that's even hiring people to run these campaigns, because I think if you want to be a long-term project, it's very difficult to be throwing money around to third parties who deliver your campaigns, because they're obviously making huge markups. So we do a lot of the marketing that you would expect, a lot of the digital marketing, a lot of partnership marketing, but we try to build these things into the fabric of the business and build these people and these resources into the business, rather than say just constantly throwing money out to third parties, which just quite frankly isn't sustainable. And I think that's part of the problem we have, is that projects launch and they get some money in that initial phase, and then they spend that on whatever they spend it on, but it's not sustainable. So again, a bit like our approach to developing our ecosystem, it's similar to our approach to marketing. We've built a lot of things in that allow us to reach tens of thousands of people about a project every week, but we do it very efficiently and in a way that's more measurable, with a big focus on digital marketing and trying to deliver as many touch points with people as possible, so it's more frequent with less people, rather than say reaching a large number of people but just once. So yeah, digital marketing and running our own campaigns across the various platforms is a really big part of that, and partnerships.
Yeah, and we've seen the marketing in the crypto space changes very rapidly. What works, what doesn't. Back in 2021, I'd have been asking when CMS trending, on Reddit or something like that. So, and you still have some of the original influencers that were on board back then in 2021, like Brothers Marketing is still supporting, and and others, but some of the people from back then aren't even relevant anymore. So, it's hard to, really keep in touch with, what's working and what's not. And, I think, like you said, the digital marketing and the campaigns on different platforms, that's what's going to bring more people back in. And the name recognition. Anybody that was around, back in 2021, like I said, they heard of HODL token. There's no
Yeah,
way they didn't, or they lie about being in the space back then.
right.
It's just the way I look at it. So, they see this again, and they go and check it out. And they're like, holy shit, this is still the same token, the same people that are continuing to push this, and that name recognition, brings a lot of trust, to investors that were around before as well.
For sure. I think the thing is as well that um, you it's very easy to spend a lot of money on marketing and it not really to be that effective. And I think the vast majority of projects are very good at that. Basically wasting money um, on marketing, and it's very short term. So I love as a project that we kind of push for things that last. So sometimes they can be slower burns, like SEO, search engine optimization, is a good example of that. We've put a lot of work into trying to ensure that we're really well ranked for a ton of searches, online that people are running, because that market will expand. But it also is something that you get kind of like a long-term dividend from. If you're really dominant in search engines, or you're really dominant on the various platforms that people are using, whether that's X or CMC, where I think we're like the 12th highest project contributor in terms of like our community engagement. They did competitions, and that's where we kind of ended up ranking in a recent one. So those kind of investments of time, they don't necessarily get the same immediate bang that you get from, say, throwing loads of tokens at a coal or or certain activities that we're seeing people do when they launch a token. But if you keep building them, they're like kind of bricks in a foundation. You're kind of going to get a long-term return from them, and we've done a lot of that with how we're kind of represented and visible on the internet and ranking, so that when this market really blows up, and if this becomes like the super cycle of crypto 2025, we're going to be dominant. Like we're HODL. There's like other projects that have come out and tried to do it, or have used that name, but nobody has really dominated like we have. And I think that's the kind of key, is that's a long-term sustainable marketing that's kind of constantly paying out return, rather than the kind of flash in the pan stuff that we're seeing with new token launches. So yeah, a bit of a different approach, but again, it's all about sustainability. We want to, if people invest into our project, we want them to be invested for life. And so our approach to marketing and how we set these things up is a little bit more sustainable, I'd say, than most projects.
Yeah, definitely. And, it's the long term sustainability of the marketing that is key, and not wasting the money, anymore. Paying somebody for a call post is just retarded, in my opinion. It doesn't do anything anymore. So, projects that are still paying for that, I just look at it as a waste of money. Um,
I think as well, one of the best forms of marketing is just having a really awesome product that your users love, and that delivers value, and it gives you a good feeling. Those kind of notions is kind of often undervalued, and that's something we work really hard on. That our technology, that our brand, that our platforms, that they're really solid, they're really professional, they're really intuitive, they look great, they feel good. I think sometimes people can spend fortunes on marketing, but if you've not got a great product at the heart of it, then you're only going to go so far. So I think we've always historically invested heavily into what we're building, rather than say some of those things that you mentioned, like Coles and so on, where you might get some interest, but you're probably going to see those tokens are going to get dumped, and then as soon as that happens, and that coal is not sort of pushing your project, you've got nothing left to gain from it. There's no sort of longevity and sustainability to it. So I think just having a really good platform and a really good product and investing into that and developing it and finding more ways to deliver value to your community takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of work, but it's there for a longer period of time to kind of benefit the project and everyone involved.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, the best marketing you have is the community sharing their rewards. Sharing screenshots of their rewards that they've accrued. Say on average, if somebody has say about $5,000 worth of tokens and they've got them staked, what would be like the average reward payout for something like that?
So at the moment, I think we're about 15% APR, but we're taking a slightly different approach to it as in the past, and it's something that we're going to build up. The big weakness in the original token, the V1 token, was that you could go along and make your reward claim. So your tokens aren't actually stacked. You're not staking. It's that they sit in your wallet. But when you connect your wallet to our website, it will tell you, how much reward you're able to claim, and then you just go ahead and make that claim, and then the countdown resets until your next claim is available. So it's really like a nice concept, very accessible. But the big weakness in the original contract was that the rewards were being distributed in full. So 100% of what was in the BNB reward pool in V1 could be claimed within a 24-hour period. And that's not so smart in terms of sustainability. It's a bit like we don't live our lives where we sort of work, we go out and we earn what we earn on the Monday, we spend that on the Monday evening, and then we start all over again on Tuesday. That would be like a really risky way to kind of manage your financial life. And I think that we had a similar problem with the original HODL in that it was just giving out everything really, almost instantly. So the way we've shifted that now is we use capping on the reward pool. So the BNB reward pool has a cap, so that right now, for example, that cap is 15 BNB. So when you connect your wallet to claim your BNB rewards, is based on how much of a share of that 15 BNB you have, which is how much of the tokens you're holding. So already with 80 BNB in the reward pool since we launched 10 days ago, which is pretty awesome. I think that's like 55K or something in dollars. You've got 5 weeks of rewards that that we're guaranteeing you can claim. And what that's effectively doing is it's making reward payouts linear over a period of time. So in the past, it was like a bit like the chart. You'd have a pump and the rewards would pump. And then if the price dumped, the rewards would dump. Whereas now it's kind of has a linear distribution model. The BNB pool's being filled, but you can't claim it all in one day because that's just not sustainable. And what we're going to do is over a period of time, as there's more and more BNB in reserves, which is, like you mentioned, a very, very marketable thing. That BNB cannot be accessed by anyone. It's sat in the BNB pool, and then people are claiming a percentage of that, every week. But as that builds and builds and builds, once we get to say 100, 500, 1,000, 10,000 BNB in the pool, we can be raising the claiming cap. So, how much of that pool you can claim. And it's all just designed to make it a lot more linear in its distribution model rather than it just chucking it all out in one go. And I think that was a big weakness. There was people that were claiming huge amounts of money, but that's not sustainable. There's like 10,000 BNB in the pool, but it would be shipped out in a very short period of time, and then the claims fall off the cliff. So yeah, slightly different approach, more about kind of managing that distribution so that it's more sustainable, and then we're going to raise those caps as the BNB pool fills up. But I think the community is pretty happy because they're already sat there knowing that they have this runway of guaranteed rewards, ahead of them.
Yeah, definitely. And I mentioned it earlier about you guys adopted a different method to make the rewards a lot more stable and sustainable.
Yeah.
Which obviously that generates more interest because as you have that cap on there and you still have revenue coming in, you still have people getting NFTs, you still have volume on the chart, that pool is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's a huge marketing tool to really bring people in. They want to get their tokens, and they want to get that their share of that pool that just keeps growing. So
Exactly.
they know it's going to be passive income coming in every week instead of just like you said, get paid today and back to broke tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, we don't live like that, do we? We don't. That's not smart.
I
think. Sorry.
I used to.
Well, yeah, I think we all have at times, yeah, and I think a lot of people in crypto maybe do live close to it, with what everything's they're all in kind of attitude. But I think what we're doing with this is going to make it long-term sustainable, and I can't emphasize enough. Every all of the BNB that is in the reward pool is going to go to the holders. Like technically, it is impossible for anyone to access those funds other than the holders. The way that the way we've built the contract, so it's the holders' money. They're going to get it, but as I say, there's 80 BNB in the pool now, but your claim on every 7 days is based on 15 BNB. But when we go to say 100 or 200 BNB, we could raise that cap to say 20, 25, 30, 40, 50. And people can see, okay, cool, I've got what I'm getting now in rewards, but there's like a horizon, I've got like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever we collectively feel is more sensible of earnings. And then, we're kind of giving people options, and we've got this vision for how we're going to allow people to claim their rewards in the future, which I'm pretty excited about. And at the moment, when you go along to collect your rewards every 7 days, you've got the option to reinvest. So if you do reinvest while you're claiming your BNB, you get tax-free HODL. So if you decide, okay, I'm going to take half my reward as BNB and half of it as HODL, the HODL element is tax-free. So that's quite cool, and it gives an incentive and it puts buy pressure on the token. The other thing that we're doing is that if you reinvest 100% of your rewards, and we've had a huge success, when the reward pool open a few days ago, we saw huge amounts of 100% reinvestments, because those people are then able to claim again in 6 days rather than usual 7. So there's that incentive to reinvest 100%, or that tax-free incentive to reinvest a proportion of your earnings. But that's just the start. Where I think this is going to end up is that for a lot of people, they haven't got time to perpetually monitor their bags and monitor charts. And I feel that where we're going to end up with HODL is that there'll be a solid, consistent revenue stream, a solid, consistent reward pool, a lifelong project, and we're going to give people the opportunity to claim their rewards in anything they want. So you could do something like, okay, come along, claim $100 in rewards, but you might want to, this week, you might want to claim those in Bitcoin. Next week, you might want to claim them in XRP or Ethereum or whatever. Or there's no reason you can't just add a contract address or search for a token that you like and reinvest your rewards into anything. That for me is really exciting. The idea that people can just download an app from Android or iOS, sign up without having any crypto knowledge, put some money into the project and get this kind of recurring income, but also set it up so that they can have that income being reinvested into a range of cryptocurrencies. I think that's going to be something that could really take off, and yeah, that's kind of where we're heading with this.
Awesome. And those would be, the Binance peg versions of those tokens, right? Like the XRP, the Bitcoin,
Yeah,
unless you're going to
we
partner
can do
with
anything,
some kind of.
we could we could do that, or we could do it so it's cross chain, like we could using a provider like Changely or some, the options there. For example, in SafePal, I use SafePal. I think I prefer it to Trust Wallet. I think it's a little bit more advanced, but you can swap, say, BNB for Dogecoin or anything, and it will use a third party like Changely, or there's a few others that they use in the app, and it would be that same methodology. And you would claim
Most
BNB.
of the cross-chain swaps actually go through the CX, so they go through like Binance or MXC for those cross-chain swaps.
Yeah. So we could do that, but it's ultimately what experience we want to give. I think for people, I know there's a lot of people who are hesitating to get into crypto because they find the technology confusing, and I think we're ticking that box with our app and how easy it is to onboard, and then I think the concept of being able to earn while you hold is a huge future. I think that's a market. There's like a segment within cryptocurrency investments where people can be earning as they go, and we kind of have our position in that. And then I think for a lot of people, they don't want to be pigeonholed into one thing, and this idea that you could be earning through HODL while you hold, and then those earnings can be diversifying your portfolio. This week you can add $100 of Bitcoin to your bag, or next week it might be Ethereum. For me, I think that could be something that sort of 99% of people that haven't adopted DeFi yet could find very appealing. So yeah, that's definitely something on our roadmap for the near future.
Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to open it up for some questions. Does anybody have any questions for Adam? Anybody? All right. Well, Adam, is there anything that we haven't touched on that you want to go over? I know we've touched on, there's got a wide variety of things to talk about on here. We've touched on the games. We've touched on, the app, the NFTs, the staking. What else is there that you want to touch on?
I think really, we all love this industry, but we all kind of probably know that there's a lot of problems. And I think that's probably the thing I want to kind of say is that what we're trying to do is fix some of those issues, is provide actual solutions that aren't easy to create, that take time, a hell of a lot of energy, a hell of a lot of passion and care to create. But we're definitely a project that is making those efforts. So I think for people that are looking for a project that's legit, we're doxed, KYC'd, we're professional, we have a good background in building software businesses and raising capital and exiting. We're looking at how we can bring technology to this industry and make it easy for people to invest, make it easy for people to earn, and fundamentally be here for a very, very long time. And I don't think that there's that many projects that really are trying to do that. Not enough, in my opinion, anyway. So for people that are kind of looking for that, and that's something that they are frustrated with, that there's not more projects doing that, I do think HODL is a great opportunity for you, and we'll certainly be continuing to build our ecosystem and improve our systems and find ways of delivering more rewards and more earnings for our holders. So yeah, I think that's really the kind of key to it, and I think that's probably the thing that we all share in common in the community is sort of wanting to be a part of a project like that.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, I want to thank you for coming and sharing today, especially all these updates. This isn't just your run of the mill rewards token anymore. And I love all of the things that you guys have been building for this. Um, if this does anywhere near what it did in 2021, you guys, this is definitely one hell of an entry. I'll say that. But with that said, thank you again, Adam, for coming and sharing. And I'm going to wrap up the recording.